Hey, everybody. Welcome back to part two, the Alexander's perspective on marriage. Rich Marriage Podcast. We got Jason and Jennifer Hall. We're excited for this part two. Part one was so good. You got to go back if you want to see. They dropped so much wisdom. But we're really excited for part two. Jennifer, man, you asked a phenomenal question. We got to go into that. We want to hear from a parenting perspective and still have a rich marriage, basically what she said. So, with that, man, what do y'all think? That's a heavy load.
No, I just say, first of all, I want disclaimer, in 25 years of marriage and almost 30 years of being together, we have definitely missed the mark on these things from time. So none of this that we're talking about is imperfection. It's just pursuit. We desire to love God and love one another better each and every day. Right. And so where we messed up, like she says, it's being humble and being able to come back and say, you know what, I missed it here, and being able to have those. And so to do that with one another, and honestly to do that with our children. I can't tell you a time one of my parents came to me and said, you know what, babe, I messed up here. You know what I mean? They might have in their own way, kind of shown some not necessarily some regret for something that was said or done or whatever the case may be, but we try to, I try to go to one of my children, hey, I'm sorry. You know what, Dad, I shouldn't have responded that way. And I'm sorry. And, and just to model that, that in front of them as well. But yeah, your broader question in terms of how do we maintain a rich marriage and we've talked about it. I mean, these kids,
selfish. They want all the time and money.
with no concern for what the other three have going on. Because I know Regina, there's some things that they will, because they know they'll get that empathy from mama. They'll, so she'll have one that just calls her, and she'll pick up the phone, and all she hears is tears on the other end, right? Meanwhile, one is messaging, hey, I forgot my shoes for basketball. Can you bring my shoes up to the school? The other one is, can you bring me lunch today? And then the other one is talking about the next, something that they want. It's just like they don't understand all of the requests that come in throughout the day, in addition to our jobs, our ministries, and then, everything else, all the other relationships that we have to balance. So balance, critically important. To all things, one of the things, and the things that we put my wife is getting much, much better and not feeling bad about saying no.
Yes.
Right. Because there's some things that we just, there's just so much, and it's all good stuff. Yes. And that's the struggle. And we're, you know what I mean? Because sometimes these are all good things. It's not, just frivolous things of wasting time. These are all good things. But okay, what is God's priority one? And then there's still only 24 hours in the day. Yeah. So how do we balance that, right? And without giving each other and our and our children our fumes at the end of the day.
And I think with parenting and cultivating a rich marriage, I think sometimes, I think there's intentional times where we're saying, okay, this is how we're going to invest in our marriage, right? Okay, on a weekly, monthly, quarterly time. And then sometimes it's not that cookie cutter. Sometimes when our pastor preached on, had a marriage segment, it challenged us to say, okay, let's spend the next 8 weeks being intentional in this space. Yeah. Or how do we build a rich marriage by default, where we're in a dry space. Yeah. So it's not a cookie cutter, okay, this is a system that works for the Alexander. Sometimes it's making sure we're doing something, like I said, on a calendar basis to invest in us. Sometimes we're prompted by you all or something that's going on at church that challenges us to invest in each other. Or sometimes it's like, you know what? Let me be aware of the fact that we're not talking about us right now. I think when you get to a spot where all your conversations are about everything else around you, and you're silent when it comes to talking about yourselves, that's a space of awareness and evaluating, okay, how do we balance this parenting while pouring into ourselves? Because it's real easy to go through a day and talk about Kayla, Kristen, Kennedy, and CJ, their wants, their needs, what they, all their schedules. And you go silent when it comes to, okay, but what about us? Yeah. So removing all of those variables and focusing back on each other And sometimes you're just like that. It's just like it's not any one thing that said that prompts us to do something. It's just kind of like, we haven't talked about us at all.
Yeah.
And so how do we just say, hold on, time out. How are you doing?
Yeah.
How are you doing? Outside of the bills and this and that and all of those external variables, how are you doing?
Yeah, got to be intentional about turning the noise off.
Yes,
especially this technology. Turn the television. My wife is good about coming in the house, turning off the television. Turn off the stuff, and everybody got their devices and phones and iPads and all of these different things. Turn all of that stuff off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And let's just spend some time in. Let's put a puzzle together. Let's play a board game. And when we do it, generally it might be some moans out of the gate, but we have so much fun.
So you balance it. You balance it by saying, Chris had taught me when I shift jobs. When Kennedy comes to you and asks you 50 million requests, fulfill one of them so you're not always putting her on the back burner saying, give me a minute, give me 5 minutes, give me 30 minutes. Right. Do it, and then she can be satisfied, and then whatever additional request she has, then you can say, no, baby, I did what you asked. Right. Now I need to shift gears. Well, it's the same way with the kids. It's just like, okay, I've done what you've asked me to do, but I also need to take the time to invest in us as well. Yes. So that creates balance, because they'll ask. It's like, no, I'm not bringing you lunch today because I did that on Monday and I want to be at home with daddy today. Yeah. So just finding finding that balance by meeting some of the commitments, but you can't meet them all. So prioritize and tell them no.
Yeah.
Got to tell them no. Got to create boundaries.
Yes.
Their asks are insatiable. They will continue to come. And so I don't feel bad about saying no. Right. You know what I mean? And one of the things that we talked about, right, our reality, when we were growing up is different than theirs. God has blessed us to be able to give them some, our home, our family, and give our children some different opportunities and experiences and just things that we were not able to have. That said, that comes with some level of expectation and entitlement. I don't mind the expectation. I love the fact that my girls, they know that mommy and daddy are going to take care of them. They know that for the most part, they're going to have everything that they need and a lot of what they want, right? Yeah. But then it becomes an entitlement piece of that. That's the other side of that coin of us providing a more comfortable life. Yeah. Right. That we have to balance, and it's important to tell these little jokers at times, no.
Yes.
No, enough. Son, you don't need 4 pairs of basketball shoes.
Yes.
What I mean?
Or yes, we're going out again today. That's fine and balanced too. Yeah, because guess what? When your friends call you, you gone.
That's right.
You're not worried about my feelings. You're not worried about
we were supposed to watch a movie.
They gone. Yeah. So you know what? I can be selfish like that. Yeah, me and daddy gone again. Because you drive me like a bad habit when so and so calls. Like, and can you take me right now?
We're going to see Gladiator tonight.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I always, because we talk about, there's so many components of rich marriage, right? It's also learning how to fight fair. Yeah. It's also modeling conflict resolution in front of them, because it's really easy to talk about the good, but there's challenges, right? And so I always say the best or worst model that your kids are going to see on marriage is what you give them. Yeah, there's resources around them that can help them navigate it, but how do we handle conflict? How do I say, I love your dad today, but we're not on one accord right now? Yeah. Right. Or we're navigating through something hard. And then let them see that journey of, okay, now we're on the other side of that.
Yeah, it's a delicate balance.
It is.
We try to be very careful. The way I put it is that I've never burdened my children with things that were beyond their control or ability to influence. Right. So talking to your 7-year-old about the electric bill, you know what I mean? Yeah, you can talk to them about turning off lights. That's what you talk to them about. You don't talk to them about the bill and the burden and financial bill. You know what I mean? And definitely when it comes to things, between our marriage. But it is important that they do understand, because sometimes some of their selfish asks can put you to.
Yes.
You know, or asking this one and going to that one, and they will manipulate.
Right.
They know who to go to. And she asked her, "Why didn't you ask? You just walk straight past your father to come ask me
Work
what's up?"
the system.
Because he gonna say no,
Right.
Yeah, he gonna say no. So making sure that we're on one accord,
Yes.
and that they understand that you're not, you know what I mean, that we're on one accord. But again, while being transparent, to Regina's point, not making them feel like, you know, everything is just, you know, roses, because then they'll get into delicate relationships later on and be like, well, what's wrong with us?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's important that we be transparent about, hey, there are struggles, but in
the
terms
level
of
of their
to the level of
responsibility.
their
like
maturity
that.
and
Yeah.
responsibility.
Yeah.
Yes.
But again, now as our older ones are now having certain asks, you know, that 21 and 18-year-old, and it's like, oh, okay. So now we're starting to have more detailed and in-depth conversation, because now you have the ability. One, I want them to avoid some of the credit and some of those
Yes.
pitfalls and things that we went, but we're having those definitely more detailed conversations. Okay, well, what about this? What are you going to do about that?
That's good.
You know, that you start to get into these teenagers, and both, you know, when we had 18-year-olds in the house, you know, senior year, it's funny because we started transitioning from, you know, authority
advisor.
to more advisor.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, okay, so you're going to start to, and early on, they're like, oh, sweet. So I got freedom to do, you know what I mean? Now you got to my older two are extremely responsible. They're the ones we used to be like, aren't you going to a party tonight or something? You know, they're like, nah, we're going to stay at home with you, all right? So their temperature, we'll probably have to do a little something different with CJ, because that one. But with those, their senior years, we're like, hey, you know, we're advising. This is what we think about it. Let's talk through it. But you need to make that decision. Early on, they're like, sweet. A couple months in, they're like,
Oh, you're not gonna
I
make this
don't know if I
decision
like
for
this
me?
too much. I think I want you to make
You're
that
not
decision.
gonna tell me no?
No.
You're gonna deal with the consequences of your
Absolutely.
actions.
Let's talk. We're here to talk through with. Okay, let's play it out. How might that work?
Yeah.
I mean, what we've seen with our college students now is that they're able to take those same, thought processes, and I'm proud of us for that. I am. I gotta say, I'm proud of us for that. Our kids, as we've discussed, we've never created an environment by which they get to say, well, why not? But we've tried to do a better job than what our parents would naturally do with us of explaining the why, because we want them to think, we want them to think strategically. We want them to play chess out here in the world. We want them to understand mentally, okay, let's play this out. If you make that decision or you make that conversation, this technology, I was just talking to one of my daughters yesterday about trying to have face-to-face conversations over text.
That's good. Yeah.
That's not a text conversation, baby. That's a face-to-face conversation, right? But again, these are all learnings and lessons and things that we, even in marriage, right? Sometimes it's like, okay, well, we shouldn't stop this texting back and forth. Let's have a conversation, because there's nothing good that's about to come out of this, right? So it is what our lessons learned in terms of this most intimate relationship, and how we try to share some of that with our children to prepare them. For their future relationships and just their relationships with one another. It's like, guys, love one another better. That's always been, no, they love one another, but treat one another better. Let's say that, just in how you respond. It's like you respond to the neighbors and to your buddies better than what you respond to one another. Come on, man. Teaching my son to be chivalrous and to honor his mother and his sisters and cherish them and treat them like he should. Those are all things that are just kind of ongoing to build us and build our marriage, but definitely try to work to build. We want our children to be, God-fearing, just good citizens. And so just working through that.
Man, well, y'all doing an amazing job. So, again, like you said, none of us, I hope, are striving for perfection. But it's that pursuit and being committed to it, right? To continue it no matter how hard it gets. Because like you said, life's going to life. It's going to get hard. We're going to go through different seasons.
Absolutely.
Which I love. That's what I'm hearing as we continue to talk. Different seasons of our lives, and even our children's lives are going to look different. And being willing to shift and pivot when it's time, which can be hard.
Absolutely.
But it's always worth it. Yeah. So you used a word, so we have a few minutes. Okay. We got to talk about this because we've talked about it a little bit before. What does cherish mean in your marriage?
Oh.
I just feel like, and we always think about our vows and to love, but to cherish is taking it to another level, in my opinion. Yeah, I love you. Yeah. Yeah, I love you through sickness and, and health and the good and the hard. But to cherish feels more intentional. It's, yes, this is a standard, but we want to be above the standard. We want to be committed at another level. We want to prefer each other and not just simply just be with each other, right? And so I think cherish is just like another level, an elevation of a rich marriage. It's not only do I love you because this is the covenant that we have, but I cherish you so much that I'm willing to intentionally see you, your value, your worth, appreciate that, and leaning to that in a way that you feel like no matter what space we're in, I see you and you're who I cherish above all others. So that's how I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. There actually is a resource that we listen to that is a book called Cherish.
Yeah.
And it is I prefer you, I adore you. You know what I mean? You're my person. Eve, you're my Eve. You are my, my one person that God said it is good, and so to be intentional about that, we'll talk about the different phases of marriage, and I know we're getting to some of that, but we're past the butterfly, newlywed type of. So it comes with the choice and an intentionality to where I choose you. I do my best, and she'll tell me sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm winning. She's like, thank you for making me feel like the most beautiful woman in the room. And I try to be very, very intentional about that and make sure that she always understands that I prefer her. Now, I miss it sometimes, and it's like, hey man, you didn't say anything about, what I mean? It's like, oh baby, I'm sorry, right? But it's I prefer you. I see you. You're my person, and I don't care what else is going on. You could be way over there, and it could be a whole lot of other. I see you. You're my person.
So let me ask you this: what effect would that have on the kids when you operate in that manner?
Yeah,
I think it's profound.
Yeah,
because the kids know. Well, most of the times they know. I love you. Mom loves dad. Dad loves mom. But cherish is just, you feel cherish. You feel, oh man, look at dad adore mom. Or look at mom serve dad in a way that's not just a space of tolerance. And so I think that it just takes what they see to a whole nother level when they see that we actually cherish each other.
We were all out to dinner recently, and one of the conversations or questions came up and there was a couple that expressed, and she asked them, like, do you like me? And he was like, yeah, of course I love you. And it's like, no, those are two very different things. Yeah, we have children together. We're yeah, of course you love me. We have so much history. You know what I mean? I know my parents have been divorced for almost 45 years, and they love one another. You know what I mean? They have love for one another because they share, 3 beautiful children together, they would say, and all of those. But do you like me? Do you want to spend time with me? Do you want to, what I mean? If you had a choice between going to do that or being with me, would you choose time with? And that's not a condemnation. We should challenge ourselves with that. If not, why? And let's have that difficult conversation as to, what? Because in marriage, we do have to have difficult conversations. And it's easy when you don't have, and that's how, the inappropriate relationships start in the office place and all that kind of stuff, because you have this individual that all y'all you don't have to have the tough conversations. Right? You don't have to have, so we have to, that means to overcome relationships or deposits and withdrawals. If we always in our marriage conversation feel like we're only talking about the heart and we're only making withdrawals, then our relational equity is going to be in the red, right? So we have to be really intentional about putting those deposits in as well and appreciate those things that we value, that we appreciate. Will do just that. They will continue to appreciate. So we have to, instead of looking at what we're not or where she's not or where she missed, think about those things and God has definitely given me some reminders of that, whether that be in dreams or different things like that. It's like, ooh, I need to continue to cherish this queen that he's blessed me with, because I would be lost without my bride.
Wow. Yeah. It's interesting. We just had a conversation, not in those direct words, but she said, I said, what do you want for Christmas? She's like, I want to pay these bills off. And then she said, you know, I said, well, I want to spend time with you.
Yeah.
And, you know, that was my heart, like, to have, you know, the in-laws or
Absolutely.
take the kids and we just get
Yeah.
to spend time
Absolutely.
together. So I want to spend that money.
Yeah.
Whatever you would have bought me tangibly, I'd rather
Yeah.
go pay for a
That's
night
good.
out somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just
absolutely.
time together.
Absolutely.
Time together.
Absolutely.
Because it's invaluable. We know with all
Can't put a price tag
you know,
on it.
all of the
Yeah.
things in life,
Yes.
that's, you know, that is quality. That's what cultivates a rich marriage.
Definitely.
Because all of those things are going to come and go.
Right.
You know, but that intimate time is so important. So.
So good. Man, we can stay on. Cherish is a whole nother episode as well. These topics are so full. They are. But as we continue, you know, we're gonna close this segment out and we'll continue on with part 3. This is so good. Thank y'all so much again.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
you.
you for having us.